Hi, welcome guys. Welcome to our first CSS video tutorials. In these tutorials and series of tutorials, we are going to be discussing broadly about CSS, what CSS is and why you need to learn it. And before you should think about learning this video, first of all, you need to learn about, you should know about, have the basic understanding and knowledge of HTML. Now, CSS is a type of a file that is used um, to make HTML page or web page look presentable, to add beauty and color to web pages. Now you can see my this is my website. You see all how it looks like. You see how colorful and nice it is, how presentable it looks like. This is done with the use of CSS files. Okay. Now what is CSS? CSS is a file, like I told you, a file that is used, a kind of a web programming language that we use to write codes that makes website looks nice. Okay. Now the CSS stands for cascading style sheet. Now CSS describe how HTML elements are to be displayed on screen, paper, or in other media. Okay. Now in CSS, you can use CSS to determine how a web page looks like on the screen. Now you can also use it to describe how the same web page should look on a paper, okay, when it's printed out, okay, because they are not going to look the same. Okay. Alright. Now CSS saves a lot of work. It can control layouts of multiple web pages all at once. Okay. Can control the layout and styles and design of multiple web pages all at once when it is linked to the head section of an HTML page. Now you can see from here, let's try to view the source of this website and source page. Now you can see this is a comment that tells you now this is where CSS is linked. Now you can see this website has a different like how many CSS file 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. Now each of them has its specific function. Now you can see this one is for buttons. All the buttons are designed here. All the codes for how the button looks are here. This one is widthful. This one is styled. This one is syntax highlighter. This one is jQuery. This one is lightbox. This one is slide bars. Animate. We have different types of CSS, different CSS files. Okay, that is used on this web site. Okay, now external style sheet are stored in CSS files. External style sheet. Now you can see all of them here are external style sheets because the codes are not written inside the HTML file. They are written outside and linked to this HTML file or web page. Okay. Now, like I told you before, I was trying to tell you that CSS files are code that we use with files that we use to describe how a web page should look like, how and probably the layouts or the colors or different patterns of layout that a website can exhibit. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to try to show you how, because we have different ways where with different ways to style, to include CSS on our web pages. We have the inline. We have the first one is the inline way, adding it to probably tags. So let's, for example, like I said before, you should start right. We should learn about CSS. You should first of all know the basic, have a basic knowledge of CS sorry, HTML. Okay, all right, because I'm not going to be teaching you HTML now. This tutorial is purely for CSS. Okay. Okay, first of all, let's look at this page on the browser. Okay. Oh, I shouldn't even do this now. Okay, let me just try to tell you what CSS. Okay, why we use CSS now. CSS is used to define styles for web pages, including the design, the layout, the variation in displays for different devices and size and screen sizes. Okay, CSS has solved big problems. CSS solved a big problem. HTML was never intended to contain tags for formatting a web page, like it is now. It's we viewed in the browser. HTML was not meant to make website looks beautiful and nice. HTML was just meant to to structure the website with the tags that structure the website. Like I said, the content to describe the content of web pages, like the H1 and H2. You should know what I'm talking about since you've learned about. You've known a little bit. Have a knowledge about HTML. Okay, tags like fonts and color attribute were added to HTML 3.2 specifications. It started a nightmare for developers. Development of large websites where font and color information were added to every single page became a long and expensive process. Trying to change all the fonts on all the website when font on all the website was it was a tedious job. Like for example, you have a website like this. Now let me try to connect it to the internet and try to view different pages of this site. Okay, now this website has a lot of page. It has like 10 to 20 pages. Now those pages now has different um, layout and stuff like that. Okay, like this is the home page. Look at how it is. This is my website anyway. This is how it is. Look at this training. Let's say. Now look at how this looks like. Okay, this is how it looks. Okay, now you can see that the style of this page is different from the first one. So that's the work of CSS. Okay, now look at let's check this one out. Now look at this one is different too, different styles. Okay, so that's the work of CSS. Now you can see when you have like 20 to 50 pages of websites like this and you want to make changes, uh, you now have to go and open all of the pages and make changes to the styles, the colors and stuff like that. It was very difficult. So that's why that's the reason CSS was created. Now CSS was just one script of file. You can make changes that will affect every other pages of the website. Okay, now that's why CSS was created. Now the style definition are normally saved in an external CSS file. Now in this particular tutorial series of tutorial, all the work we'll be doing in CSS will be done in an external sheet. So they are not going to be an inline CSS styles or probably an internal CSS style like what you've been doing you did on HTML. When when you check out my HTML videos, you see where we did CSS in HTML. So most of what we did there were on an internal style sheets and an inline style. Okay, so CSS does all this work for us. CSS external style sheet does all the work that will be needed to be done. Okay, now with just one sheet we can use it to define how this the whole website looks like. So you can see that, you can see from there. Now let's check my uh, news. You can see this is actual really different from others. Okay, now that's what it is. Okay, now you've known about CSS, what CSS can do. Now this is where we're gonna end this now. Then the next um, um, video tutorial, we are gonna be discussing about syntax and selectors of CSS, and how we can create CSS files, and how we can save them and link it up with the web with HTML and make beautiful websites with it. Okay, now I don't think there's anything I'm going to discuss in this introduction. It's very simple. Okay, all right, now see you in the next video.